All right, so blue-black pirates. I personally like this deck more than mono blue tempo, and you can read my fuller thoughts on why I prefer this to mono blue tempo in my full primer on Cool Stuff Inc. from 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or 3 weeks ago. But the TLDR is that basically gaining the black cards means that in addition to Curious Obsession generating card advantage, we get Fathom Fleet Captain and Thief of Sanity that generate card advantage as well, which is a pretty big deal, because in my experience playing the mono blue tempo deck, while your Curious Obsession games tend to run away with things, when you don't have a card generating card advantage, you have a harder time picking up wins with the tempo deck. So Spell Pierce and Opt do functionally different things. So Spell Pierce is another protection card that prevents your opponents from killing your threats. Opt effectively is a filler card that technically gives you a little bit more of everything that's in your deck. It's additional threats, it's additional protection. It's a little bit of everything and nothing at the same time. Yeah, I moved the Hostage Takers into the main deck of this build as a way to hedge mono white in a very small manner. So Hostage Taker is very good against the mono white aggro deck because not only is it an okay blocker, but they also have very minimal amounts of removal. So generally a 2-for-1 to us. The best matchups for this archetype are the control decks in the format. Things like Jeskai and blue-black and stuff like that. So, do I just jam Captain here? Yeah, he's usually a must kill. What makes this deck suddenly playable? You mean as compared to last rotation? Like, it just rotation changes everything in Magic. The fact that, like, things that were oppressive left pulls the power level down in the format, which makes a lot of things more playable. Yeah, we did not have a rotation for a very long time. So unfortunately, this needs another pirate in play to make a token. So I can't make a token this turn. Do I want to jam Thief here? I kind of just want to like end step Dire Fleet and then start making two-twos, I think. They could be Jeskai control. Like Revitalize makes me think they're on Jeskai. Like if they're on Jeskai, I could get Cleansing Nova next turn, which would suck. But I guess if they Cleansing Nova me, I just like untap and like go Captain plus have Dire Fleet Poisoner. If they don't Cleansing Nova me, I'm in like a pretty good spot. And if they have Justice Strike, it really doesn't matter what I play. This opponent has a different username, so if they are playing a Boros control deck and not just Jeskai missing colors, they're playing something else potentially. Yeah, Poisoner is a card I've been very, very happy with. That's a good draw. So I think at this point, now I'm just gonna move to combat. I really don't want to get this killed. So I don't get to make a pirate this turn. They don't have the mana, obviously, but I do get to keep my Fathom Fleet Captain around, which I think is good. You could maybe argue that I should hold the Lookout's Dispersal because I have the Curious Obsession. Yeah, I think it's possible that maybe because I had the Curious Obsession, I should hang on to it. I think the white mini matchup is very reasonable for this deck. I think we have evasive threats as well as like okay blockers, and we have cards that generate card advantage. That is a phenomenal draw. Suit up. just not going to be able to beat the third sweeper this game, so let's not worry about it. So, spreading out the Curious Obsessions plays around spot removal, but it does not play around a sweeper. Alright, so they didn't have a sweeper that turn. In my experience, this deck is pretty reasonable on average against control. They didn't have a sweeper last turn, so I'm just going to jam Thief here. They ripped the sweeper off the top. They ripped the sweeper off the top. And remember, the most important thing to remember is that when people talk about matchups being good or bad, a lot of times they take that to mean this matchup is unwinnable or it's unlosable, and that's just not how Magic works. In fact, in good standard formats and good TCG formats, your decks can have good and bad matchups without them being unwinnable or unlosable. Man, if we find a counterspell off their deck here... Ooh, that's an okay one. Can I just take that? Nah, I'm gonna take Chemist's Insight. I guess taking Insight... Is it expansion? I mean, taking the Insight means I can Insight into a counterspell off my own deck this turn and play Direfleet Poisoner. I knew what I was drawing, but I definitely had auto stack triggers on when I shouldn't have. I'm only drawing 2, chat. I'm not really worried about their counterspells. Like, expansion doesn't really have text at this point. Like, their counterspells aren't where they're winning the game. This draws 2 and lets me Direfleet Poisoner this turn, chat. Which is a big deal. Well, they were getting this regardless because Thief puts the other 2 cards into their discard pile. So they were gonna get Chemist's Insight regardless. So I could have played this to try and push lethal, but I think I'd rather hold up dive down here. Yeah, it's just like, these games of Magic are interesting in my opinion, that this deck generates versus the control decks. You have a lot of back and forth. That was not very good for them here. Oh, tapped my lands wrong. Should have left up Memorial here, obviously. Oh, I could have... Yeah, that's super true. Alright, so I should have done this pre-combat and then flashed this into push lethal. That's a good thing to point out. Thank you. It's been a hot second since we've played this. Oh, I did just draw the discard pirate. Yeah, you're super right. I love dive down. It's so flexible and good. Just, it slices, it dices, it's a combat trick. It protects from deafening clarions. Just really does all the things. All right, so if they need a Justice Strike or something here. Dire Fleet Poisoner only pumps up attacking creatures, chat. Oh, brutal. Dispersal's a great draw. Yeah, I think Folly Freebooter makes a lot of sense. Although it's also a touch awkward because it's not a lethal threat on its own. Nice magic card. Wait, Chemister's inciting? I mean, I don't really think they warped anything too much. We played Drowned, March of the Drowned in some of the earlier builds of this archetype. I ended up cutting them from the later ones. I think just like cards that generate card advantage on their own, like Rune Raider or Thief of Sanity, just tend to be a little bit better on average. Actually, I'm gonna show them Hostage Taker here because I'm boarding Hostage Taker out, and I want Hostage Taker to be something that they think about while they make plays. So this card is not gonna be in my deck post board. Yeah, it's one black, pick 2 pirates up. Alright, so what am I boarding out? Hostage Takers and Cast Downs come out. Got 4 cards that I theoretically need to cut here. Usually I just trim my ops, honestly. They're kind of a filler card. Trim some Dire Fleet Poisoners. 2 Price of Fame might be too many, but I think it's pretty important to be able to kill Niv Mizzet. Like, that card just ends the game on the spot if you can't kill it. They also have Drakes in their deck, and like we need to be able to attack through Drakes as well. But yeah, Price of Fame is primarily coming in because I expect them to have like 2 Nivs post board most times. Yeah, I made a small concession to Mono White and moved Hostage Taker into the main. I think Hostage Taker is very good in that matchup. Mono Red also had a decent weekend at the Pro Tour, so like Hostage Taker is very good in that matchup as well. I think this deck's really good against the bigger versions of black-green, but I think it can tend to struggle against the more aggressive builds. It could be that this hand needs to draw a black source, which makes it not good enough. I mean, we haven't... Nothing but professionalism, chat. Nothing but professionalism. Justice Strike this one. Shivan Fire, rude. They did have the Justice Strike. This might be greedy. Maybe I'm just supposed to take Nova. Hey, it's Yervis. Thank you very much for continuing that sub gift. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I should have taken the Justice Strike. Or taken the Cleansing Nova instead of the Justice Strike. If they brick on a land, we'll be in a great spot. If they hit the land, which they're pretty likely to because they drew an extra card off the Crackling Drake, we're just gonna get dumpstered. So medium sequencing on my part this game with how I use my Kitesail Freebooter. And then they're gonna get like the strike back and like be able to kill my Thief of Sanity. Wow, that's brutal. I'm a big fan of constructed playable combat tricks.
You're welcome to try.
Yeah, I think it ended up not mattering because they drew the Deafening Clarion, but I think I did take the wrong thing with my Kitesail Freebooter there. Sand's real good. To curve this into this, hold this. This is like pretty close to our nut draw on the play. They could have like an untapped red and Shivan Fire this on one though. Definitely not completely unreasonable. So this deck doesn't have enough black sources in the mana base to cast a black card consistently. That is a scary hand. I guess the tapped lands make it a little less scary. Yeah, hopefully we're just going to show you the best type of card advantage Magic has, which is killing your opponent while they have cards in their hand. So I don't want to play Fathom Fleet Captain here, because my opponent can syncopate it for 1 and then we won't be able to hold up Lookout's Dispersal. Which is nice. So I have to go ahead and do that. Maybe I should wait to play my land. If they don't syncopate this for 1, I could play the tapped land. Probably fine. A new black planeswalker in the next set. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. This is a pretty easy take Deafening Clarion. Pass the turn. Dive down is phenomenal. We're We're basically just gonna play like a mono blue deck this game. We just like protect the queen and run away with the game. The fact that this doesn't die to Justice Strike is also like quite fantastic here. Yep. Then Obsession asks you, do you want to draw a card? Do you feel like it's insulting your intelligence rate? It's just like, of course I want to draw a card, Magic Arena. What kind of stupid question is that? And basically, so I like that this archetype has the same free wins that the mono blue deck has, but it also has other must answer cards like Thief of Sanity to allow you to run away with the game. Yeah, there's so many different iterations of the archetypes at the PT. Format has a lot going on, and honestly, all of the major archetypes have a lot of small tuning choices that you can make while playing them. One of the days it's gonna put me on the play with a hand like this, so I mulligan instantly, but today is not that day. Oh no! Whew. Thank God this is a no justice stream, chat. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. Chupacabra. I think I just want to hold up. Look out, Dispersal here. This gets Chupacabra. I'd like lose. If I put Curious Obsession on here and got Chupacabra, I'd like lose the game on the spot. Sure. I didn't gamble last turn. Am I supposed to gamble this turn? I probably should have just gambled last turn. I'm just losing the race by too much otherwise. Yeah, I think I should have just gone for it 2 turns ago instead of being a coward. Cowards can't block warriors, Jet. Pretty easy block here. That's insanely good for us. Dive down, also fantastic. So now I get to go attack with these. Pay here. Make a 2/2, draw a card. Hit you for 4. It might even be right just to hold up Dispersal there. Just so they don't get the body. And this is, I feel like this game's about to be a really good example of why I think Fathom Fleet Captain's so good in this deck, is my opponent needs to hold back creatures so they can block Fathom Fleet Captain, but then while they're holding back creatures so they can block Fathom Fleet Captain, they are losing the air to my evasive, the race to my evasive threats in the air. So kind of like a damned if they do, damned if they don't type situation. It kills things, has hard removal in it. You can read about my full thoughts on here in my article from a couple of weeks ago. SCTR doling out the sub gift duties, people without shovels. Welcome to the Hoaglandia draft, folks. Thanks for the support, SCTR. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So, what do we think about Fungal Infection in this matchup. My opponent has Llanowar Elves, but Fungal Infection can also kill Explorer creatures in response to their Explorer triggers, right? I think Fungal's actually probably good here. It also just like making chump blockers while we race in the air seems fine. I'm gonna bring in the 3 Fungal. Maybe 3 is too many. Just like 2 is fine. Let's do 2. Let's not go all in. Let's just do 2. Stroke's pretty good here too, though. It kills Chupacabra and stuff. It blocks and kills X2s. That's true as well. Like it does. Maybe I do want all the Fungals, but I kind of want these Strokes as well. Thank you for the support again, SCTR. Welcome to the new subs. I don't think I want the Moment of Cravings. I think that's too much removal in my deck. Honestly, the more I think about it, maybe Fungal's just better than Cast Down because of the resource efficiency. Let's try this. I can see this being okay. Like, the number of things you cast down that, like, Fungal plus block doesn't kill is, like, pretty small, right? So the problem with Hostage Taker in this matchup is that it's a ton of mana. And if your opponent is able to kill your Hostage Taker before you replay their threat out from under it, they're going to get their Enter the Battlefield trigger again. I actually didn't have a Pure Leaf tea this morning. I have returned from my monthly timeout. Terminator, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the support. Left their Doomblade on top of their deck. Let's get Captain here. Having drawn land, if they kill the Captain, we're probably going to be in a lot of trouble here. Okay, no Captain kill. Yeah, Hostage Taker is definitely for when we have a more controlling role. Grilled Tarpan with the 8-month resub. Thank you very much and welcome back. I appreciate that. Thanks for being employed here. And Die Harlequin, thank you for the 6 months. Hooray to half a year of Amazon Funbuck shills. And again, you see we're kind of getting set up here again for the same type of situation I talked about last time. Like, they're leaving their ground pounders back so they don't die to the Fathom Fleet Captain, which opens me up to be able to hit them in the air with the Stormtamer. Like, obviously I don't have a ton of big creatures in the air right now, but I've got this one at least. Let's see if they go for it. No Contempt at end of turn is interesting there. All right, so I think I'm gonna start pressuring. No, that's not true. I could trade this for the Merfolk Branchwalker and have a 2/2 left behind. Is that worthwhile? Probably not. Yeah, we could. We are soft to Carnage Tyrant this game. I don't have any pressure. I don't have a Dire Fleet Poisoner. It's very possible I'm supposed to attack with this and make a 2/2 and just like trade here. Yep. All right, some games you don't draw spells. That's magic. Let's on to the next one. We have a very, very generous community here. They're quite wonderful. Another thing that I do here for people that aren't familiar, if you're new and watching, the people that cheer bits or donate dollars or gift subs to other people, I have a deck queue that we pull all the decks from that our viewers submit a deck list. So people that support my content kind of get to pick which decks get played in the queue too. So a little bit of give back to the people that support my stuff, kind of dictate what we get to see played here. Yes, this is a very, very good Thief of Sanity matchup. This hand is absurd. Very, very good. You have just mono must-answer cards. Next turn's probably going to be Curious Obsession, hit them tapped land. Okay, or Fathom Fleet Captain, that works too. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna let Fathom Fleet Captain go to work here. Oh, huh. I guess I could have played around that. Yeah, that was loose on my part. I should have played by land pre-combat. Small sequencing mistake on my part. Get wrecked. Green-black historically hasn't played much Golden Demise, but I suppose in the world of... let's do this. In the world of mono white and white-red aggro, that might be changing. That feels good. It's possible that, like, putting this on a ground pounder is also not particularly good. That's fantastic for us. Anytime Curious Obsession draws 2 cards, you're just like, we're gonna take this check and take it all the way to the bank here. I think I'm just passing here. I feel like I'm supposed to play around a potential sweeper at this point. Menacing and Curious, yep. It's a heck of a combination. Resolves. These Duresses have been aces for our opponent. Sure. So you're dead. Just incredibly dead. The fact that this thing counters abilities too is just so good. So like, Stormtamer smacks her. This smacks them. We draw another card. Like, all right. How we doing, folks? Good morning. I guess it's almost afternoon on the right coast. How we doing? My name is Jeff Hoagland. If you're new, welcome to my stream. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Glad I didn't scare you away. I stream Magic full-time here on Twitch. I play pretty much nothing but constructed Magic, although we are going to add some Artifact into the stream schedule next week when that releases and we're able to stream it. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are a big part of why I'm able to do what I do here full-time. I love what I do, but I wouldn't be here day in and day out for the 30, 40, 50 hours a week that I'm in without the support of my subs. Logan, you do still have a shovel, so I appreciate that. Be sure to refresh your browser page to send the sub notification through. Past subscribing, you can also support my content by checking out some of my very, very wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would like to help you get the nice, close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/Shave. You can save $5 on your brand new starter kit with them. Just as little as $3 with shipping in some places. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards direct to the players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone to Hoaglandia. Thanks for dropping by our little slice of the internet. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. I appreciate you to spend part of your day here with us. If you do find yourself enjoying my content, be sure to check out my website as well, jeffhoagland.com. Pretty much everything I do gets archived there, and I break the decks up, all my videos up by deck, so you can watch just the matches that you care about. It's also really easy to filter on my website by just modern or just standard or just the matches that I found most interesting. Hoaglandia or death. If you're interested in learning why I prefer blue-black pirates over mono-blue tempo, you'll want to check out my article on cool stuffing from a couple of weeks ago. You can find a link to my articles on my website. Also, just use that bit.ly/Google articles for short. This hand's okay. It like doesn't have any of our impressive card advantage engines. And it's a little bit land heavy, but I feel like the 3 spells that we have are like worth keeping. Yeah, Cardsphere has a similar model to Puka Trade, but anything you put into Cardsphere can be taken out for cash directly at any point. So there's 0 chance of the inflation nonsense that happened with Puka Trade happening with Cardsphere. You have people managing it that understand how to manage an economy. It's pretty bad for us. It's probably not going to be very winnable on the draw. Yeah, I agree. Thief was a big upgrade. I'm gonna offer to trade this dive down for this night. 4 whole months. Here's some dollary dues. Justin, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I'm gonna let that one resolve because cast down kills it 1 for 1 very nicely. Mono blue or mono red are probably the best decks to get into with in terms of like the amount of money it costs to build them. I would like to put this on here and I would like to draw a card, please. Please double block me. Please double block me. Oh, yeah. Can I sing you the, oh no! Oh no, come on! Let me sing you the ode of my people. They're diving down. Rude. They heard us. They heard us. They knew it was coming, chat. They were scared. They didn't want to get got. They can see you hovering over a card in your hand, can they? I don't think so. I don't think they can see me pull a card up. You can see when they hover over cards on the game board, but I don't believe you see when you hover over cards in hand. Not drawing any more threats probably means we're gonna die here, which is unfortunate. Yep. Yep. Kept a kind of land heavy hand that didn't draw enough additional spells. Cast down's good here. Hostage Taker is excellent. Trim these ups. Kitesail Freebooter is probably pretty mediocre here. They can block it most of the time. They don't have that many cards that it can take. Moment of Craving. Cast down seems great. Moment of Craving seems fine. They don't actually... So, my opponent played an Angels that game, which makes me think they're playing a little bit bigger white deck as opposed to a smaller one. So we didn't see a bunch of 1-drops out of them, so I don't think I want Fungal Infection in this matchup. I think I'd rather just have Cast Downs and Cravings. It's possible Rune Raider could be good too, even just no additional card advantage with. Yeah, this is my favorite deck in the format, for sure. The Sultai deck is sweet for grinding people out, but I really love the style of gameplay that this plays. Yeah, I think Thief is great. Seems pretty reasonable. It would love a 2-mana threat, so I can play this Curious Obsession on it, but like the rest of our cards are just like very, very decent. Yeah, Danto Vanguard could be annoying. I have Moment of Cravings and Hostage Takers to deal with that though. Yeah, Price of Fame on the draw might be good. On the play, I feel like I can just Dispersal to get under it. As we close in on half a year, I have to say, Hoagland's new sports arena is one of my favorites. Sadasar, thanks for the support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, it's probably just Lyra here, right? Feels like it's just Lyra. Maybe I should have slid the Curious Obsession on here. That's very possible. Yeah, I think I was supposed to put the Curious Obsession on here. This is going to be kind of scary next turn. What's the price of this deck in paper? It's really cheap in paper. It's like... Oh, we're gonna take a big hit next turn. So... I think we're dead to removal no matter how I slice this, right? If I slam Lyra, I go to 10. I don't have lines that beat removal, right? So we should just take the highest upside play. Hostage Taker, a token, still leaves us dead to removal. Because we'll be at 12, and they'll have 3 things that have 12, 13 power. The gap in, because these are cards that are exiled to, man, do I even trade here? I kind of feel like I want to trade here. I feel like I have a hard time losing if I trade here. Just like get that health total buffer going. Yeah, that's why I said trade, chat, and not eat their thing. Series 2 of the Warhammer card game, I believe, comes out at the end of the month. Didn't have an answer last turn. Blue Black Angels, right? Remember when somebody asked a hot second ago if Thief of Sanity was good? I'm gonna say unequivocally, yes. It's probably not very good, Gara. I did miss lethal with the Curious Obsession. Chat, I'm gonna let you in on a dirty little secret. Did you know that when you kill your opponent, you have to stop drawing cards? It's really the saddest travesty in all of Magic. If I had killed my opponent there, I wouldn't have gotten to draw 2 more cards from their deck. And I realized that drawing cards from my opponent's deck isn't quite as good as drawing cards from my own, but it's like pretty close. All right, so they have Lyra in their deck, so I probably want Price of Fame. Is their deck big enough that I want these Disdainful Strokes too? I feel like their deck is going big enough that I want these Disdainful Strokes. Yeah, Resplendent would have given me a 4/4. That's true. Just a crazy embarrassment of riches. I think Dive Down's probably not good enough. Duress isn't good enough to bring in here. In order to bring Duress in, you probably want them to have like a quarter or more of their deck be targets. Might just trim an opt here on the draw. Seems fine. I trim opt on the draw a lot. Samalander, thank you for the brand new Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Lookout's Dispersal is 2 mana, better mana leak. It's counter unless they pay 4. We haven't seen a Danto out of them yet, chat. I get that Fungal is good against a Danto, but we haven't seen that card. And I already have like a bunch of cards that I'm trying to fit into my deck, so I think I'd rather not. Do we have a way to deal with their enchantment removal? We do not. Blue-black does not have a way to interact with enchantments outside of like something that's like a bounce spell. I think that's kind of narrow. History of Benalia, sure. So I get to go Curious Obsession, draw a card, and then I get to either counter their 4 mana play or cast down their thing at end of turn. So seeming like we're in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, we saw a lot of cards out of their deck and they did not have a Danto Vanguard. Do I just let this happen? Because I can cast it down? I think so. I think the plan is let this happen, and then I'm going to cast down the knight that attacks me, and then I'm going to untap and cast down the marshal and hit them again. Menace is so good. Very menacing, very curious, fantastic combination. I feel like this game's been a fantastic example of the what do you gain from adding black to the mono blue deck question. Yep, in for another Price of Fame. That felt really good. Hey, if you get to my Jund Walker list today, I strongly suggest making some changes before running it. It definitely needs some update. PK, are we getting to Jund Walkers today? You should update the deck list for the queue. We're getting to Jund Dinos today, but not Jund Walkers. But you should update the deck in the queue if you've been tuning it more. I think I'm gonna look out Dispersal at this point. Nah, I'm just gonna Price of Fame. Perfect. This has been a pretty runaway. This felt good. I was worried that this matchup was gonna feel really hard, and like the Price of Fames felt good. I really feel like we have the tools to be pretty competitive here. It's just like Hostage Taker, get rid of your token, make a 2/2 draw card. I really feel like this game like highlighted the strengths of what this deck is doing, which I think is like obviously this deck isn't unbeatable, but like you want to be doing something objectively powerful generally, and I think this deck qualifies under objectively powerful and like the lines and sequences that it offers. Fathom Fleet is just so difficult to race. Oh, jeez. The pride cometh before the fall, chat. The pride cometh before the fall. All right, so I should have only attacked with the Fathom Fleet Captain. Got it. Listen, they drew one card, okay? I don't want to hear it. Sure. They have nothing to bring back. Nice Planeswalker.
Strength is born of struggle.
That's true. We do get to the people looking at the glass half full in the settle. I appreciate it. We get to draw more cards now. Would I bring this list to an open? Yeah. In fact, I was going to play this list at the Grand Prix this weekend, but I decided that Grand Prix aren't for me. Competitive paper Magic is something. Are Pirate Angels the secret tech? They really are. This is the secret technology. This is my front runner for choice of decks for the Invitational next month, because I'm committed to going to that tournament. Play Elves in Modern and play this in Standard, I think. So how many Lyras should the Pirates deck play the sideboard? Yeah, it's up to you, really. It's a powerful card, though. No, I decided to bail on the Grand Prix this weekend. Interacting with people who play a bunch of competitive Magic reminded me how rancid the community is. I just don't want to do that. It like cost me a ton of money to go play in a Grand Prix to begin with, and I just like don't want to spend a bunch of money to go play in a Grand Prix and then like feel bad about it afterwards. Sweet. I'm excited to play this. I haven't played a ton against the mono white matchup. I feel like our deck is constructed in a way that we have the tools to be competitive in this matchup, but I haven't actually seen how it's going to play out. This is probably a card we board out in this matchup, but that's pretty good for us here. Fair. For people who aren't familiar, there is a strong negative stigma in the competitive Magic community towards playing the game by the rules and taking a hardline stance on letting people play the game by the rules. I'm gonna hit with Thief of Sanity here. Probably see a chump block. Can you explain a bit more why that is? Yeah, like people get upset when you don't let people take things back or like get away with things that the rules say they can't get away with. There is a strong negative stigma towards calling judges in the Magic community. There's a lot of people who view letting judges get involved in a game of Magic as a negative, as opposed to the positive that it is, because judges are there to help. And my life is too short to like spend time bickering with people about things like that. Yeah, if you call a judge your angle shooting, is the response that you get from many people in the Magic community, which is hot nonsense. But that's how people in the community often react. Judges are friends, not food. Oh wait, wrong movie. If they draw a red source here, we could maybe get in a little bit of trouble. But if they don't hit the red source here, we should be in a pretty good spot. I think I just double here. No red source there. Probably means these thieves can run away with the game. Any good Netflix movie suggestions? I watched through their Sabrina series. I really enjoyed that. It felt like Buffy the Vampire, but created today instead of forever ago. Like a modern day Buffy. Huh. I think I take this. So I can go Healer's Hawk, Dauntless Bodyguard on my Healer's Hawk, and then I can poison her next turn as well. And still hold up Lookout's Dispersal. Yeah, when you get two thieves going, you definitely like wish it could take lands for sure. So we need to do this in response here because it makes my Lookout's Dispersal cost one less. Are we done here? Feeling like we're done here. Someone will try to tell the opponent the correct. So that's not angle shooting. What you've described, lying to your opponent about how the rules of Magic works, that's cheating. And that's the problem with a lot of people that don't. That's the biggest problem with competitive Magic in my mind, is there are a bunch of people who cast judgment on people who play the game competitively that actually don't have the slightest idea about how competitive Magic actually works and like what's legal and what's not. Like, I hear some people refer to something as angle shooting. It's like, no, that's just actually allowed by the rules of the game. And then other times I'll hear people refer to something as angle shooting. It's like, no, that's actually just cheating. It's not angle shooting. Was this a good turn? It felt like a good turn. All right, so definitely a Fungal Infection matchup, definitely a Moment of Craving matchup, definitely a Hostage Taker matchup. Is this a Price of Fame matchup? I think it's a Price of Fame matchup. Maybe it's not too price, but it's some. I don't know, it's tough, right? I think Kitesail Freebooter's pretty bad here. I know it was like okay and took their thing last game, but I think it's probably not good enough here. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Opt, I think. I think this card's actually decent just as a combat trick. That are actually against the rules. Yeah, people have taken the term angle shooting. Oh, I didn't bring in my last cast down, did I? People have taken the term angle shooting and applied it to Magic to basically say that any type of play that they don't like is angle shooting, whether it's legal or not. And as someone who has a very good technical understanding of the Magic rules and who played Magic at a very high level for a very long time, literally thousands of sanctioned matches under my belt. There are a lot of people who cast a lot of judgment and spread a lot of hate that don't have an understanding of the rules of Magic. It's very frustrating in my opinion. It's one of the things that caused me to step back from playing competitive Magic a bunch and focus more on content production, which I guess is a good thing overall for me. This has been far more successful than playing competitive Magic ever could be. I agree. My number one, and this is a mulligan, right? It's like really good with a black source. Screw it. Yeah, you're not wrong, Jekyll Girl. Life's too short for the thing you're supposed to enjoy to bring you frustration. So if the thing you're supposed to be enjoying brings you frustration, you should take a step back. Aggro, thank you very much for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Here's the thing about the Kent situation. Magic doesn't define where any of your zones are, and it doesn't define that you can't move your cards in those zones whenever you want. And that's great. You can say that that sucks and it's crappy, and I'll agree with you on that. But guess what? By the rules of Magic, Kent Ketter did nothing wrong in that situation. And as someone who's very analytical and believes the game should be played by the rules, black and white here, he didn't do anything wrong. Sorry, just didn't. You're allowed to say you don't like it, but the idea that like what he did was against the rules is just patently incorrect. It was not against the rules of the game. All right, hoping the draw black source was bad. Only good things can come from Watsy slowly switching to Arena. I agree. Looking forward to Magic as an esport. Here's the thing. When people talk about what's good and bad sportsmanship, like, it's not like they spit in their opponent's face or they did something super offensive. They played the game by the rules and someone doesn't like the rules, so they're gonna call them a bad sport. People like to bring this idea of ethics. People like to bring this idea of ethics into this children's card game that's a luxury hobby that we all play. This isn't something that impacts someone's quality of life. This isn't some basic human right that you should have a guaranteed right to have to improve your quality of life. The idea that playing a game by the rules could be unethical is absurd to me. The rules of the game that we've all agreed to play define what is right and wrong. That's what I believe. I believe we've all agreed to play this game by the rules, and if you don't like some of the rules, that's great. Don't play the game. I think you're ridiculously naive and stupid if you don't think that competitive sports, people take every possible edge that they can take. And you know what? If you want to tell me it feels bad, that's great. I agree with you. It might feel bad. But don't crucify the player who spent like all week practicing with the deck and put in a lot of effort in and like it's really easy to sit on the sideline and be like, I'd never do that. Well, guess what? You'd probably also never spend 40 hours a week preparing for a Magic tournament and then spend, you know, countless hours driving to get to that Magic tournament too. So what you do in that situation is kind of irrelevant because you wouldn't make your opponent play by the rules because it doesn't matter to you. You didn't put in the work. It's really easy to say, I'd never do that when, well, let's be honest, you wouldn't put in the work to be in a position to be able to do that. What's our record with this deck? I have no idea. I don't keep track of the record while we're playing. Keeping track of the record while you play, like, is a really bad way to measure the power level of a deck. Making the game sound bad past 7. It is bad. It is bad. You always want to draw your card before you do your Thief of Sanity trigger, because what we draw with the Thief of Sanity off our deck could impact what we want to take with this. Like Lookout's Dispersal. That's a pretty good one. Huh. History's pretty good here. Huh. So what do I want to do? Do I want to hold up this Dispersal? I probably can't, right? I need to beat the board. I think I need to just start making blockers at this point. A Ninja Turtle Jr., thank you for the Twitch Prime support. Welcome. They do have Aurelia and Reinforcements mana next turn, which is pretty scary. So maybe I should hold up Dispersal here. It's possible I should have mulliganed this hand on the draw because I just like didn't have enough going on. So you're comfortable saying it'd be bad manners or more casual play? Yes. In fact, and this is another thing that like people are completely clueless. If people have these strong opinions and they're just completely clueless with how Magic works. Magic explicitly has different rules enforcement for things like triggers at specific RELs. Things like F&M and what you're playing at your local game store explicitly are played in a different manner with different levels of strictness than what occurs at a competitive REL tournament. And there's a lot of people that complain that like, well, I wouldn't ever want to have that happen at my local game store. And it's like, yes, it probably shouldn't happen there because there's a different rules enforcement level there. Why do you act like your chat isn't a high enough level of understanding of the rules? Because there's literally people in chat that don't understand it. Because I have a lot of experience with this, and a significant number of people have no idea what the difference is. And at no point did I say nobody understands it. There's level 2 and level 3 judges in this chat right now. They have a really good understanding of what that means. But you know what? There is a significant portion of the people in this chat that have never read the IPG and the MTR and the comprehensive Magic rules for tournament play. That's just the truth. Most people in this chat probably haven't read those documents that define what's allowed at different levels of tournament play. And that's okay. They're not required to, but, you know, it does mean by having not read them that they don't know what's expected. We're dead to a removal spell here, but we were dead no matter how we sliced it. So this block here isn't going to kill the Vanguard, but it's going to gain us 3, so that's nice. Or deal 4 to them, sorry. My knights are bigger. All right, so I think I'm supposed to hit them here because I'm looking for a 1-mana creature here, basically, right? I'm looking for a 1-mana creature or a land that doesn't deal damage to me off the top of my deck. Cast down is okay. I'm looking for a 1-mana spell though here, ideally. Knight of Grace. I guess heroic reinforcements is like a double blocker, right? Do I just take heroic reinforcements? Just go like reinforcements plus Siren Stormtamer? I think that's the line. This has been a sweet game of Magic. There's been a lot of good back and forth here. And we are dead to like a couple of things here, but I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. We are dead to that one, unfortunately. Good games, opponent. That was close. Maybe on the draw, I'm supposed to mulligan more aggressively for my early removal spells. Cause like I didn't have my Fungal Infections or my Moment of Cravings there. And like if we would have had one of those, it would have been a very good spot. Skip Dash, thanks for the sub gift. I appreciate that. I don't play Paper Magic, so I honestly don't know the answer to this, but you're saying the code of etiquette is not employed in Paper Magic as according to most sports. I don't know what you mean by code of etiquette. Magic, the Gathering, has very clearly defined rules for tournament play on what is and isn't legal. Correct. There are lots of people who consistently do well at large tournaments. There's people in the Hall of Fame who have never read those documents and aren't familiar with how they change. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing too. Like another thing a lot of people aren't familiar with, we literally have penalties in competitive Magic for things that are unsportsmanlike and at varying levels of unsportsmanlikeness. There's USC minors and majors depending on what offense is committed. I've won an open and I haven't read those books. Yep. Wild Growth Walker's really good. That card's really good. All right, so am I supposed to Freebooter here? I think I'm supposed to poison or trade with the Wild Growth Walker. Where can you find those documents? On Wizard's website. If you're having trouble finding them, Google is your friend. Holy crap. Do you have a cast down? Oh, baby. Gobble, gobble. That's a good one, yeah. That's a real good one, chat. That was delicious. I love this deck. I love constructed playable combat tricks, chat. They are my jam. Constructed playable combat tricks, they are my jam. All right, so I could get greedy and jam this Obsession, but I'm just gonna wait a turn and just hold up the dive down in the Stormtamer. So they're one off of Carney T here, but like I have Dire Fleet Poisoner to check Carney T, so like Carney T's not even good here. I also have Dive Down to beat their copy of Finality next turn. People thought the LSV thing was great because he's LSV. It's just what it is. I thought his play was great, but more people. I think all plays that give you an edge within the rules are great. I think that's where you see the real skill in a game like Magic, is when you see these players make these plays that are within the rules of the game that give them these advantages. Like, those, in my mind, that's what makes good players good, is they're able to take these things inside the rules and play them to their advantage. This just seems absurd for us. I get to counter this. Next turn, Dire Fleet is gonna smack Vivian. This hits them and I draw another card. Oh gosh, chat. Oh, I love this deck. I just want to hit people, play flash creatures, and draw cards.
I've seen school. Now we're getting started.
Yeah. That's just some good clean living. Alright. Let's cast down this elf since they've got a bunch of 6-drops in their hand. Good, clean living. Yeah, I think I like Fungal Infection in this matchup, the more I think about it. I think I like this configuration. If you've never played a tempo deck, you should play this or play Mono Blue. Mono Blue is much cheaper to build than this one, but tempo decks are... Oh, cast down for the Wild Growth Walkers. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. There should be cast downs in my deck right now. The Eldest Reborn is in the sideboard for the control matchups. Have I tried this in Grixis yet? I don't think red adds anything meaningful to this archetype in terms of solving problems that it could have. Yeah, Hostage Shaker is very good against white-red aggro, McCullough. It's good against mono-red aggro too. White aggro was the best performing deck at the Pro Tour, and then red also had a good weekend. So I think the Hostage Shaker, and like Hostage Shaker, like in the matches where Hostage Shaker like isn't great, it's not bad per se. Like this matchup, it's like fine. Do I stick this? The problem with sticking this is they could Chupacabra it next turn. Dive Down is a uniquely powerful card in Mono Blue Tempo. There really isn't a replacement for it. So the cast downs in my sideboard are partially for Div Mizzet 2. We played against Jeskai earlier today, and I brought the cast downs in for that reason. I'm gonna not play the Fathom Fleet Captain since I have double Dispersal in my hand. This is just like the definition of tempo, just like trade my 1 mana for your 4. Good luck, Godspeed. Did I say cast down? I meant Price of Fame. I meant the one that's in our sideboard. Play my Super Leak. Play Pirate Leak. Boat Leak. Deck needs more tempo, Hogland. No marks. What if we didn't do that? All right, so I'm on empty, but I'm ahead on board. I guess they don't know I'm on empty either. Ooh, are you on empty? What does your hand look like? Woohoo! Nice Necrotic Wound. That card seems real bad in their deck. So they've got a very small window here to find something that impacts the board. That's probably not gonna do it. Woohoo! Oh, this deck is great. Fathom Fleet Captain is very, very good. Down to 3. Your move. This even saves one of my 2/2s from a finality. Yarr. If this is your first time watching us play this deck and you think it's sweet, it is. Be sure to check out my website later today too, jeffhoagland.com. You click standard decks at the top. There's a page on there dedicated to this deck list. You find a bunch of more videos of me playing it on stream. We probably played 4 or 5 leagues with it at this point. Play one more match with this before we roll right along. What do we got? Grixis Midrange and Jund Dinos coming up later today. Yeah, it depends on what position you're at in the game, Wingate. It also depends on, like, how your opponent has played out the rest of the game. Like, if your opponent hasn't been playing around bluffs, you probably just need to jam. Show me your secrets. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Weird. Had Forest Land War Elf and didn't play it on 1? That's like, has to be incredibly wrong. I mean, we saw their secrets. Fear my 1/2 flyers for 2. Tilt. When and why do we have a salad emote? The salad emote's an inside joke. This is my favorite part about Dive Down, is when we get to turn Dive Down into a removal spell, basically. Just like pump up the Dire Fleet Poisoner. If you think this deck is sweet too and you haven't read my content, be sure to check out my full primer on it on Cool Stuff Inc. I wrote a lot of tips and tricks for playing it, little lines to look for and stuff like that. Vivian Reed, sure. A birthday shout out, of course, Maximum. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good one. We're probably pretty close to dead at this point. Get to hit her for 5, which is unfortunately not enough. If I'd have hit Curious Obsession, we could have killed her this turn.
You'll have to do better than that.
Happy not birthday, Marty. I suppose they could flood out here a little bit. Depends on like how good the quality is here. If we hit like a Ravenous Chupacabra, we're probably scared. Carney T. Carney T's not even that good on this board. I've got Dire Fleet Poisoners. Unfortunately, I don't have spells.
scars.
Carnage Tyrant is Lava Axe. Yep. Accurate. Checks out. Midnight Reaper. They might wait a turn on attacking with this since Midnight Reaper's on top of their deck. It turns their Carnage Tyrant into a cantrip. I think these two attack pretty free here. Big dumb dino, too scared to attack. This is the type of card that could pull us back into this game. This card's real good. Go get your own Carney T, right? So if I do this, I don't think I can afford to take these extra hits. Unfortunately, the Midnight Reaper is going to cantrip their elves. Midnight Reaper is just so good in green-black. Just like turning your creatures into cards when you're done with them is just like so very good. This gives them a lot of chances to hit something to answer Thief of Sanity though, which is the card I kind of need to pull us back in the game. I really don't think I can afford to go to 6 there though. Yeah, it looks like they hit a Doomblade.
I lead the Golgari. Consider it done.
Sometimes it's just not meant to be. We were like impressively in that game for how few spells we drew. I'm not going to do a full shill again here, but Arena did decide to take a nap, so enjoy my ad screen while I load it back up. So this opponent looks to be playing a build of green-black that's a little bit lower to the ground. They were going up to Carney T, but they had a bunch of elves. They had Midnight Reaper. They had the 3/4. I don't know that I'm going to put Disdainful Stroke in for this matchup. I think I want the extra cast down. I'm putting a couple Fungal Infections, not all of them though. Yeah, I agree, Clacker. And just like part of the fact that like there's like 5 very competitive decks to pick from, plus a smattering of tier 2 decks that you can play as well, it really makes it so like the established archetype won't really have super defined shells, because like you'll want to change the shell based on which of the other 5 decks you really want to hedge to beat. It's just not good enough. This hand also isn't particularly good, but it's a keep. I think I'm gonna shock this in on one in case they have an elf. Getting the token going ASAP makes my Rune Raider better. Perfect. Freebooter Rune Raider is a good curve. That one's annoying, but they won't necessarily have... It's annoying, but they don't necessarily have Explore creatures to follow it up. I'm actually going to be skipping the Grand Prix this weekend. I decided it just wasn't worthwhile to go to. Too much drama and competitive Magic. And animation is so great. Hit me, daddy. If they don't draw a removal spell this turn, Dispersal plus Captain should allow us to run away with the game this turn. That's fantastic for us. I am super excited for high-level arena tournaments as well. Sounds wonderfully exciting. It's a good one. This game's gonna snowball real hard, real fast. So I think I want to not activate Fathom Fleet Captain this turn because I'd prefer to hold up Dispersal plus Dive Down. In fact, I know they have Vraska's Contempt here, so I'm going to need to dive that down. And then I want to be able to look out Dispersal whatever they do on their turn. Oh, that's pretty good too. Are we gonna like end step? We're just like not gonna play into it. It only cost me 1 mana to hold up, friendo. So like, you're probably pretty blasted here. I think I have to let this resolve because if they have another, if they have an explorer creature for the last one, I'd be really sad. Yeah, Rune Raider took that game and ran away with it. I've played up to 2 copies of Rune Raider before. You really don't want to draw multiples of it because the health total, hammering your health total really adds up quickly, even with just 1, 2s, and 3s in your deck. But the 1 copy of Rune Raider is like very fantastic. I think I'm gonna click submit. I definitely want the cast downs because they have a bunch of Wild Growth Walkers in their deck. I don't think I want anything else up here. Maybe Hostage Shaker is better in the Wild Growth matcher version of this matchup, but I'm pretty happy with everything else I have going on here, so I don't really have anything that I want to cut for it. 4 mana cards are tough. How is this list compared to the one on my website? I'm going to update the list on my site to be this one after we're done streaming today. Perfect. I think this deck has the tools to be competitive against most things. I think its hardest matchups are probably blue-red Drakes and the white-based Angel decks, because those decks have a lot of good ways to block their creatures, but in general, I feel like you have the tools to be competitive in most places. Sure. So we'll go tapped Memorial plus Obsession this turn. That card's very slow. And like, if they kill my Siren Stormtamer here, the Curious Obsession replaced itself, so it like drew a card, and then like they've spent a removal spell, and only 1/1 does really, since this drew a card, and then I get to like play Thief of Sanity, and like maybe run away with the game. So this deck just has a ton of like, you need to answer this or I'm gonna bury you in card advantage. You need to answer this or I'm gonna bury you in card advantage. You need to answer this or I'm gonna bury you in card advantage. Just, we have a good mix of those threats along with things that protect our threats from their removal spells. Just like feels very powerful, very consistently. Real decks have curves, yep. If they don't have an answer to the Siren Stormtamer this turn, we are just going to put them in the ground. Alright, do I want a Freebooter this turn? I think I do. Since the Stormtamer lived. Woohoo! That's a scary one. That seems really greedy that they didn't just 1/1 the Golden Demise last turn. If I was them, I probably would have just played a Swamp and Golden Demised my Siren Stormtamer. Sorry, Johan. It's just so expensive for me to go to a Magic tournament for the weekend, both in like actual monetary cost and opportunity cost from not working. The opportunity cost from not working is arguably higher than the than anything else. If I throw money at you combined with my tier 2s up at $40 for build around, definitely Ozar. A-okay with that. So I want to play a land. The question is, what else do I want to do with this turn? Honestly, I think I just go land Rune Raider and like draw a card with it. And I'm like, next turn, I can go Thief plus Siren Stormtamer with protection. You can details on how my deck queue system works can be found here on my website. If you have any questions about specifics, feel free to message me in private. I do need to be a little bit careful here with the race. I think if they attack here, I'm actually going to trade these. That seems good for me. Is 3x Tamiyo Field Researcher too much? No, I think I could build a modern deck around that. I'm gonna no blocks these. So I think they're gonna go ahead and Golden Demise here, which is fine with us. Yeah, Arena needs the trigger. The trigger interface menu that Magic Online has is actually very good. Oh, you're a turn late, Fungal Infection. My sequencing there was sloppy. You should have played Stormtamer first. I would like to take 2 here. Carnage Siren is their scariest threat they could play because it closes the game out. Anything other than Carnage Siren I can probably race here. If you put on full control mode, Arena will ask you to resolve every spell. Phased out. Thank you very much for the 9-month resub there. I appreciate that. So this is gonna risk them having a cast down here, but I think I need to kill this Jade Light in response. And like, that's not even particularly good for them there because like, the explorers don't matter because Thief of Sanity is going to take their cards. I think I just want more pressure. It's also like card selection, right? I'm going to hold on to this other Thief of Sanity in case they hit a sweeper. I think I leave that there. It like protects from a copy of whatever it's called, Finality, because it makes it a 2/5. What's going on, Thaddeus? Hope you're having a good one. That's fine. We get to start and Stormtamer that. Let's get another bit badge while we're at it. Ozar, thank you for the support, both the tier 2 sub and the bits. So 3x Tamiyo Field Researcher. Got it. She's actually one of my favorite Planeswalkers. I would love to trade, thank you. The Soul Card deck went okay. It has some clunky moments, but it's still one of my favorites. I'm not sure that I like it more than this one, but I also just really like tempo decks, so So I could Memorial, pick up Siren Stormtamer, play it, and hold it up. That seems like really good for me. The 23rd land has felt good too. I added a 23rd land today. That's 1 Memorial to Folly, and the Memorial's been consistently very reasonable. Yeah, Duress was decent. No blocks. Basically just looking to fade Carnage Siren at this point. Deal. Am I at 1 territory? I thought I was at 2. The territories just got awkward, especially with more black removal in the sideboard. You want to be able to cast those spells more consistently. That's pretty good. Super Thief! Doo-doo-doo-doo! And again, you want to stack it so we draw our card before we make a decision, because what we draw for the turn could impact our decision here, potentially. Oh, would you look at that? Do we have the city's blessing, chat? I think we might have the city's blessing here, chat. Bye, friends. Yes, yeah, that's a good question. I put the curious. This feels like I'm putting all my eggs in the same basket, but I'd rather this be able to protect my one big thing that matters here. Are we done here? Grapple, thank you for the 3-month resub. This Pirates deck is a blast. It's my favorite thing in Standard. This build felt really trim. This build felt, I liked it. I liked the 23rd land felt good. The sideboard felt really clean in most of the matches that we played. Yeah. I need to run to the restroom really quick, and then when I get back, we're gonna play some Grixis mid-range.